Thanks, and welcome to another episode of Enfield Today. My name is Kevin Kibbe. I'm your host for tonight. Guys, we have got a great show for you tonight. We are bringing you the Efee program that you've all known and seen about, and we're just going to give you a little more info on it. And we'll go right into it and welcome both Matt Post and Shannon Grant. Guys, welcome to Enfield Today.
Thank you so much.
And Shannon, it's weird that you're on this side of the camera tonight.
I'm glad to be here on this side of the camera tonight.
Well, Matt, what is Efee? Can you explain that to us?
So Efee, E-F-E-E, Enfield Foundation for Excellence in Education. So basically we're a philanthropic organization. Our mission is to support innovative activities in the Enfield school systems.
Nice.
Right now, Enfield school systems being actually the public schools, parochial schools, and now the CREC.
Wow, you guys go all the way out to CREC too.
Oh yes,
very
we do.
Nice.
They're
good,
here. They're here in town, and they serve our community.
Nice. Well, I saw that they were founded in 2009. Shannon, what happened? How did Efee come to be?
Well, I was part of a group that is known as the Parent Leadership Association. At the very foundation of the association is our desire to advocate for issues that affect children and families, in particular education. A small group of us within the PLA organization thought that it would be beneficial to Enfield to have a foundation where we could raise money to fund innovative programs and projects that teachers would like to bring to Enfield that otherwise couldn't be funded by the Board of Education or other public funding sources, because, as you know, education is extremely expensive.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's only getting more expensive, and also the expectations on our students are only increasing. So being able to inject a little bit of additional funding into the system by these innovative projects would only help our students.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what you guys have done a lot of work from what I've already seen so far. And what kind of programs does Efee support? What's a general overview of what you guys do? And I know we have some photos that'll be coming up too, so we can talk about those as well.
Okay. We distribute funds in a couple different ways.
Okay.
We can either do a grant, for it's a standard grant for a program. We could do a sponsorship, or actually there's a couple. Let's see.
Well, what is a sponsorship? Would that be like me sponsoring a student or something?
Well, it would be a program that would continue on past a single grant.
Nice.
An example of that would be One Book, One School. We've done this a couple times. And a grant would be like for a specific piece of technology, program materials or something like that.
Nice. And then, very good. Now, we have some photos that I know we have to show you guys. And if we could get some of those on there, some of the things they've done now. This was one of the first things that I remember you guys with, because two of my girls were in this. Explain this little thing to Shannon. Go ahead.
This is a slideshow showing one of the years that we did the Enfield Idol program. We did Enfield Idol for 3 years in total, and it was one of our best fundraising initiatives. And yes, both of your girls were in Enfield Idol at different times.
But that was fun because
it was an amazing program.
We were talking a little bit before we came out here about how exciting it was and how the kids wanted to bring mom and dad, but also grandma, and so those seats were full.
They sure were.
For that.
We sold out the first year because we were in the Asnuntuck auditorium, and they don't seat as many as the high schools do. And we sold out within 3 days of pre-ticket sales. So
and then you guys went to Fermi after that, correct?
Yes.
So good for you. And then you had the Connecticut Invention Convention. That's coming up there.
Oh, yes. The Invention Convention is something that we're very proud of. We brought it a few years ago. We brought it to the town as a community-wide event. And since that time, it has been taken up by the Enfield Public Schools as part of, first as part of their curriculum, and subsequently as special interest clubs. They've taken on the responsibility. And
so that was something you guys started, though.
We started by bringing it to Enfield.
Right,
It is an existing program,
Exactly.
a statewide program that many towns do participate in. It was actually here in Enfield for a year or two, many years ago.
Oh, I did not know that.
And then it left, and I had heard about it. I thought it would be great to bring it back, and luckily I did have the support of the school system.
Well, those things
to
are
help.
good because, again, it's kind of like the Enfield Idol in that it gets families involved and it gets the kids all interested in something and really focusing on a task and trying to build or create something that's better than,
Right.
And that's neat. But now, okay, let's go back a little bit to the grant program. Like, how does it work? Who can apply? That kind of a thing. What are the steps?
Actually, all right. So, as you would expect, teachers can apply for it, but there's more public, parochial, CREC, and we've even had students apply for the grants.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we've had each of these kinds of people also be accepted for the grants.
Nice.
Right. One of our best grants that we've done was one we're going to talk about in a little bit. It's an exercise program that was presented by a kid at JFK. Fantastic. So the way the grant program works is we have a rather simple grant application that we've developed.
Okay.
And we present it on our website, and there's a couple of ways to submit the grants, either by email or through a Dropbox, or you can email it to our P.O. box here in town, and we'll give you all the contact information a little later in the show.
Yeah, please.
But along with the grant application, we also put a rubric for grading the grant application right with it, so you know how it's going to be graded.
Interesting.
So somebody who is not really versed to writing a grant really has a shot on this one.
So that's kind of neat. And so so-and-so submits a grant, and then it comes to who? Like, who decides? Is it a committee that decides on how?
It's
Because you
the
guys
board.
must get a lot of them.
We do get a fair amount,
I would bet.
and we judge these as a board. Basically, the board of directors. We have a meeting with as many board members as we can muster.
Mm-hmm.
We come together, and we grade it using the rubric.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a quick process. That's a
Well,
heck of a night.
Yeah. And now, some of the grants. What are some of the grants that you guys have given in the past? I see like some more photos that we have coming up of grants that you guys have actually granted. I guess that's a word. Which ones have you done?
Well, one of our very first grants was called CLIck, Comic Life Integrated with Core Knowledge. That was a grant that purchased the Comic Life program for the entire school system, and the teacher who won the grant trained all of the English academic teachers in how to use it and apply it to their curriculum, but also even outside of their curriculum to create projects and such. Trying to think. There was a science teacher that same year. I'm seeing that this is the JFK murals that if you visit JFK cafeteria and also the hallway going to the auditorium, you'll see these murals hanging up.
I've seen those.
Those
are
were
really
funded
nice.
by Efee and painted by students.
That's awesome.
JFK Middle School students.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've
seen those.
They are excellent
Yeah,
murals.
my
and they're
youngest
beautiful.
goes there, and I've seen those. And now
This is a picture of a Sea Perch competition. We helped fund the Sea Perch initiative in its foundation year. Mr. Zwodniak, the TAG instructor, talented and gifted instructor, came to us and asked for funding for this Sea Perch program, and students have gone to nationals from our school system to compete in a Sea Perch competition, and it's a really it's underwater robotics program.
So that's kind of cool. And then what do we have here?
This is the program that Matt alluded to a little bit earlier. It was designed by a JFK student who is now a senior at Enfield High.
Really?
Her name is
Cool.
Sydney. And she worked with Mr. Zawodniak to create this running program because she is a runner. She's actually a very good runner. And for a couple of years, we had a zombie run right around Halloween.
Oh, nice.
And it wasn't intended to make money. It was it just covered the cost because it was a grant.
Sure.
But it got families out and running around the cross-country track that JFK used.
And then these two are...
Okay, so this is a program that we gave a grant to for Prudence Crandall School. This is the 3rd grade teacher. Her name is Kelly Shea. She and her partner went to a training session in Chicago, and she came back from this training session with basically training in this program called Set the Stage to Engage. It's similar to the Winning Hearts and Minds of Students approach. And when they did the proposal for the grant, they gave us a little bit of an outline of what they were looking for, and then we funded the program requirements.
Nice.
Basically, it's, literature and books and things that they would need.
Gotcha.
So they took those, and this is interesting because we got some feedback on this one. That it was very successful in a short amount of time in the 3rd grade, and now it's like proliferating through the school.
Really?
So they're gonna take this even further than that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, through my interactions, and I haven't been a lot, but I did, like I said, 2 of my girls did Enfield Idol, but it seems like almost everything, if not everything, that Efee does is geared towards families, and I like that. I mean, it's about family involvement and family, and not even just family, but then going out into the community and, just raising awareness or raising things for whatever. And going back to the invention convention, you touched on it earlier, and we have, again, some more photos to come up, but how did Efee get involved in that exactly? That was you, I would assume, right, Shannon? Or
we were looking for a larger project to fund on the district-wide level because we wanted to start trying out things that might go beyond a single classroom or a single subject matter. The Invention Convention is one of those programs that it's not just about what the child is doing with his or her hands. Yes, there is an invention that is the product of what the child does, but the Invention Convention is about problem solving. It's about presentation.
Absolutely.
It's about question and answer and investigating. Also technology, because they have to look up to see if this invention exists already. So they're looking up patents on a website. And these are students who are in the 3rd grade up through the 8th grade. And then they go to a statewide competition and they compete with other like-minded students. And something like that allows our students to experience things that they otherwise wouldn't be able to experience.
Without question.
And part of education shouldn't just be learning X plus Y equals Z. It really needs to be, what am I good at? What do I really enjoy doing? Because as these students are in our education system, they need to decide where they're going. Are they going to go to college? Are they going to go to trade school?
Right, because
the military?
It's like each person has his or her thing that they're good at, whatever it may be. And what this seems to do is it pulls that out of each individual person. So, and yet they're all still working together at the same time.
Right.
So it's like when you get a job in life, you have to be good at what you do, but you have to be part of a team to have a common goal at the end. And this seems to do it. While it is competition, it seems like it's friendly competition. And they're probably helping each other along the way too.
Yes, they are. That is part of the feedback that they receive at the Invention Convention event. These students will interview the other students. Like a student will present his invention or her invention, but the other students ask questions about it.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
they're brainstorming, they're thinking, and it's not just about the product, and it's not just about the way they put it together. It's also about creativity and collaboration and so many other things.
And now we have 3 photos, I believe, maybe to show on this. And what are we looking at here?
Following the Invention Convention event here in Enfield, we had an opportunity to take some of our students to the state capitol for Connecticut Invention Convention Day. And they met to Senator Kissel at that. And and were able to present their inventions to him.
Oh my goodness, that's
So
so cool.
that was very
and that must have been
exciting.
exciting.
That was
as
very
all get
exciting.
Up for them guys to do
Very
that.
exciting.
Yeah, this is very interesting, and I'm glad you guys are doing this because, like I said myself, I've seen Effie a lot throughout, on Facebook and on social media and through the schools, but I didn't know. I'm learning so much already, and this is awesome. And like, Effie's really important to teachers and students, then, right? BOE funds the schools, the classrooms, da-da-da-da.
Right.
Effie provides funding to allow teachers to take the existing curriculum to the next level, hands-on experiences, innovative equipment, yes, I have to read this, programs that otherwise would not exist, no-risk pilot programs like taxpayer funded. Explain that a little bit.
Yes, one benefit that Effie has and brings to our community is the opportunity for us to provide funding for programs that may or may not be successful in our school system. Not every program fits in every school system. We provide grant funding for programs. The teachers test it. They provide some feedback to us, and we can take that feedback back to the Board of Ed and say, you know what, this is a really great program. It would be fabulous in this situation across the district. And that's exactly what happened with the Connecticut Invention Convention.
Right.
And like I said, the Comic Life is throughout the entire district. I'm sure there are other programs that might be available to other classrooms as well.
Do you guys have anything coming up, anything that you guys are working on that you can share, things like that going forward? Or?
Well, we have another grant season coming up. It's the spring season.
Is that when you guys tend to do the grants, is in the spring?
And we have two times a year. We have a spring and a fall.
Okay.
All right, so the fall one we've already done. We'll talk about that a little bit if we have time. But the spring grant cycle is coming up, so if any teachers and students have an idea for a grant, now is the time to start putting it together. And I would even go so far as to say, if you're having any trouble doing that, please contact us.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Say if I have an idea, but I've got no clue what I'm doing, I could reach out to one of you guys or somebody on your board who can help guide and teach me how to do it and then present it.
That's absolutely true.
Absolutely.
Somebody watching this tonight might have a very good idea.
Yeah.
And then to contact you, what's your contact information? What's the best way to get a hold
All
of you
right,
guys?
so there's a few ways. There's we have a PO box here in town, which you can look up on EFEE of Enfield.org. All right, so that's our website, so you can go there. We also have a Facebook page, which is EFEE, just EFEE, I think.
I don't remember.
I don't recall this Facebook page.
It's been up there for a long time. It may be the full name spelled out.
Yeah.
Well, there's an
is.
awful lot of Enfield parents and teachers that are part of it. So,
Correct.
bound to be in one of your friends'
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
mailboxes.
Just search Enfield Foundation and it'll pop up, I'm sure.
All right. So if you do arrive on the EFEEofEnfield.org site, you can go through the menu and you will be able to find the contact information for the officers. All right. So I'm there. Shannon's there. Beth Windsor-Post is there, my wife.
Okay.
And a few other people.
Our entire
It sounds
board.
like you guys got a lot of people involved in, I don't know if they're even on the board, but just involved in general.
We do. We could always use more.
Good.
We would like to have more. We would like to have a diverse group of people because we think diverse group of people brings a lot of opportunity to our group and ideas.
Absolutely.
And
Well, then there you go. If anybody knows, if anybody's interested who's watching this, if anybody's interested in helping out, please contact these guys because I personally know Shannon for a long time. She's really easy to work with. She's somebody who's patient, will teach you, and if anybody's interested at all, even if you're slightly curious, give these guys a call because you might stumble onto something really exciting.
Absolutely.
And then, how do you do all of this? Where are you getting the funding? Past fundraisers, things like that, community donations. How does that work?
Okay, so we get the funding from a few places. One of my favorite ones actually is there's a payroll deduction from the teachers of Enfield. right? They take like a 50 cents or a dollar out of every paycheck, and they contribute it to us. And there's about 70 teachers that are doing that right now.
Nice.
I mean, we would like more, of course, but
Right.
but you'd be surprised how far that actually goes.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So that happens. Is it once a month or twice a month?
It's every paycheck. So,
yeah, so I think twice a month that happens. Then there's another payroll deduction, which is actually matched from travelers. So
Nice.
there's some people from travelers that give
Okay.
money. And of course, we would, with enough resources to go out and mine these types of contributions, basically solicit, because we're a philanthropic organization. That's sort of how you do it.
Right.
But with the resources to do it, we would gain more funds. Right. But the funds that we have are adequate for what we've been doing lately.
Good for you guys. This is awesome. And if somebody wants to somebody's watching and they want to make a one-time donation, they can do that as well, correct?
They can. On our website, there is a PayPal link, and all of our donations are, we're a 501c3 nonprofit corporation, so they are tax deductible as allowable by law, and we certainly appreciate any help that we can provide. We would love to be able to invest even more to the Enfield schools,
Oh, absolutely.
or the Enfield community. I don't even want to say just the Enfield schools, because as Matt said, we've given to CREC, we've given to the library. They were one of our very first grant recipients with their library bags, and there's a lot of good we can do.
And not even just that,
like
what starts in the schools maybe expands into a whole bunch of other things. Now, one of the things we've touched on what Efee can do to be successful, and we've got all that. We have a graphic of the actual website that you guys have. If we could put that up, only because then folks could see the detail and how that. There we go. So basically, that's it, right?
That is our website.
Enfield, www.efeeofenfield.org. People can click on and find whatever they need to do. And, in closing, we've got a couple of minutes. What's been each of you guys, what has been your most positive, unexpected, fulfilling experience that came from doing this, from volunteering? There must be something.
Oh, boy.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right. So I was asked. This is about 2 years ago now. I was asked to run a club for the Invention Convention for Efee, for students that weren't in schools it was part of the curriculum. So I ended up getting some kids. There was one from Prudence Crandall. There was my son went to it, and believe it or not, a couple of kids from East Windsor came to it as well, because they didn't have the club in East Windsor. So we let them come with our club. And we went through the entire process, that entire invention process, starting from these kids don't even know what the heck they want to do, to fantastic inventions that they could tell you the story of how they developed this.
What did you see? Like, what was the neatest invention?
Okay. So there's this one kid who he has a little sister, right? She's like really small, and she can't pour a gallon of milk. A gallon of milk is really heavy, so she can't pour it. So what he did was he invented a little cap that you put on it that is just a spigot that you can put on your gallon of milk at home. So we're like, okay, well, what happens when it gets down below the level of the spigot, huh, kid? Huh?
Right.
And he's like, well, then it's light enough. She can lift it up. We're like,
That's so neat, because it's true. Shannon, there must be something.
There were a lot of moments in my involvement where I could say, wow, that was really mind-blowing. One of which was I was in the car with the kids driving along, and one of them was talking about the Comic Life program, and it occurred to me as I was driving, I'm like, wait a minute, that's there because we put that there.
That's kind of cool.
And I'm like, whoa. That's when it hit home to me. Like, we are really making a difference in these kids' lives, and we're making a difference in the curriculum and how it's being delivered, and just their level of excitement. Another one is the Invention Convention. It was just such a great program. I can't say enough about it. But I remember right before the event started, the very first year that we had it, I was in a quiet moment standing inside of the Enfield High cafeteria, just surveying the room, and there was nobody in there except for me and my partner in crime at the time. And right in front of me was my daughter's invention. I could see hers among all of them, and it was so overwhelming and so proud of all of these kids, because they had done so much and worked so hard, and they were going to get acknowledged for that work today. And they did, and that just made me so proud.
And it's not even just like making an invention, like you were saying, and reaching out, looking into patents and seeing what exists and whatnot. But it's something that lasts with them for maybe for the rest of their lives, you know. And as they turn into adults, it's just it's an experience that you don't let go. Like my daughters still talk about the Enfield Idol, you know. And even though it was several years ago at this point, they still have really fond memories of it, and they made some friends, you know, and amongst that they still are friends with, you know, because I didn't know you could sing, and it's just neat that some little idea that you have, you know, could have such a positive impact on so many other people. And again, we're looking at the EFEE of Enfield.org. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any concerns, you know, reach out to these two, either Matt or Shannon, and they can direct you to where you need to go or where you want to go. We've got just like a minute left. Any final thoughts? And first of all, I want to thank you both for being here, because I guarantee you've educated a lot of folks tonight and things that I didn't know. And this is good. This is exciting, and we're gonna, you know, hopefully share it a lot. Any final thoughts?
Actually, yes. So because we are a volunteer organization, and we are like Shannon said, you know, 501c3, you know, not for profit and all that. What we have is either donations of money or donations of time.
Yep.
We would love to see more people come.
Absolutely.
We would. In fact, we are planning an event this spring, which is to be announced. We don't have a date yet.
Okay.
Which would be an open house, and we would like to invite the public.
Nice.
Anybody, Enfield, come on.
Guys.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Effie's
a great program. Thank you again for Matt and Shannon for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll be back next time with Enfield Today. I'm your host, Kevin Kibbe. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye. And we'll end right at the 0. The credits will